To this for Panorama and joins us. Morning, Marianna.
Morning.
This is going to strike a chord with families, households all over the country this morning. What have you found?
I think it's actually really important to start with this question of algorithms, like you mentioned, because throughout the summer there have been lots of conversations about phones, impact of smartphones on kids, impact of social media on kids. Is the solution to ban phones, isn't it? And so on. Various people have been chatting about that. And at the heart of this all are the algorithms. So these recommendation systems that will send people content based on what they might like or what other users like them like. And it's all with the goal of keeping us hooked, keeping us coming back. The problem is that some of the stuff that keeps us gripped can also be harmful. And I've chatted to several teenagers, including one called Kai. He's 18 years old. And he told me about how he's really struggled to escape violent and misogynistic content on his TikTok and Instagram feeds. And when he's tried to indicate to the companies, I don't want to see this kind of video, he says he keeps being pushed more of this sorts of stuff. It has an impact. He said it's had an impact on him, but he's also described particularly the violent content. And then he's described the impact of misogynistic content on friends. One friend, for example, who started to adopt the views of a controversial influencer, and he actually had to step in and give his friend a reality check, he says. And what's really interesting is how different, he says, his feed looks from other girls he knows who are a similar age. Let's hear this from him.
So, Marianna, why is this happening?
So I tracked down various people who worked at the social media companies, including someone called Andrew Kwong. He worked at TikTok in Dublin from the end of 2020 up until 2022. And he and one of his colleagues, actually, while he was there, decided, he says, to look into what different 16-year-olds, well, different users, including 16-year-olds, were seeing. And this is what he had to say.
So what's the answer?
So, I mean, in Andrew's view, and he says he raised this when he was at the companies, he wanted them to take more action to stop this kinds of content being recommended, particularly on TikTok, to users. He raised other separate concerns when he worked at Meta, which owns Instagram, before this. Speaking to Kai, he says he wants the social media companies to listen to teenagers, to listen to what they do and don't want to see. He doesn't think a ban is the solution because he uses his phone for everything. And I spoke to Ofcom, who are the media regulator here in the UK. They're in charge of enforcing a new Online Safety Act that comes into force at the start of next year. They favour that approach too, listening to teenagers. They say that teenagers are being recommended harmful content on all of the social media sites, and even if it's a minority, they describe it as being unavoidable. I reached out to the social media companies too. TikTok says it has 40,000 safety staff working alongside innovative technology to keep its apps safe. It says it doesn't use gender to recommend content. It has settings for teens to block content that may not be suitable. It doesn't allow extreme violence or misogyny. Meta, which owns Instagram, says it's introduced over 50 different tools, resources and features, including for parental supervision and reducing sensitive content for teens.
Marianna, thank you so much. So relevant, so many families. Thank you so much.